Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is DFree and here today we're talking about the announcement in-game. I don't want to say it's in-game actually officially because if you log on you won't see it yet, but I'm assuming that tonight because the date on this, you know, etc. Anyways, that being said, 21, she's getting a Zenkai. So we're going to talk about what that means for the game, what that means for current teams that she'll be applicable to, and things like that. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, hit that subscribe. Of course, if you are new to the channel for more content like this, where we break the news and also gameplay showcases, tutorials, etc. here on the channel, depending on whatever we're talking about. So that being said, 21 event. Let me know what you guys think about 21 getting a Zenkai. Well, let me know what you guys think as well about androids picking up a blue character that'll be relevant in the meta. So here's the deal with androids. I'm gonna say this really quickly. Androids was, for a very long time actually, the best team you guys probably didn't run into very often. In fact, Androids was like a top 3 team in the game for very, very long recently. In fact, they might still be that. I need to go back and think about what has come out recently. Like, you know, God Key started getting pushed and stuff like that. Whatever. But the core of Android 16's Zenkai, which you probably don't hear very much about anymore, he's still incredibly good. A far better Zenkai in 18, who is oppressively good. And then also you have the Reviving Cell, who has one of the best mechanics in the game. He's also potentially able to be Zenkai boosted with the other red cell. And then you have like this awesome team overall. And then they have very powerful Z abilities, ranging from powerful EX characters or sparking characters like Evil 21, who has HP. You have a lot of ways to build a very competent Android team centered around the Cell, 18, and 16. But they were missing a blue, most notably. They just didn't have one. So when they were matched up with Sun Family, in a lot of cases, Gohan would pretty much just shred that team, and that's just how it was going to be. But not only is this Android 21 Zenkai going to impact the Android team, she's also going to impact Regen, which I'll talk a little bit about more in a moment. So let's talk about the news here. So again, it's scheduled to go live technically tonight in terms of when this will pop in the game, but it'll go live on the 19th, which is, I believe, on Tuesday. Yep, that's Tuesday night at reset. So for me, probably for you guys, if you're on the East Coast or whatever, that's early Wednesday morning. You get the point. Whenever your game resets, you get your next login bonus. Okay, so this news is not even like, it's not even like that expansive. They just say she's getting a Zenkai. It almost leads me to think that it's like undone, because it's just like, oh, she's gonna be available for Zenkai. You click the Zenkai button. Most of the time, they actually tell you what's changing if they're gonna do all this, right? So they don't even tell us what's changing. Again, that could be subject to change and get updated, but whatever, right? We're going to talk about how she is currently. So one thing that's interesting about this 21 is that she's an awesome support character. And you just got to think about her being paired with characters that are, again, oppressively good, like the Zenkai 18, one of the best offensive characters in the game, to be honest, and one of the has literally, in my opinion, the most cohesive kit in the game. Everything she does just synergizes so well. Zenkai 718. In fact, she probably will be coming back soon as well as a result of this. But also, this team now has 2 Zenkai 7 yellow characters. And, you know, characters that are still very relevant and very powerful. I don't want to say relevant because that, you know, that's determined by, you know, how much you run into those teams. But characters like the Reviving Cell or Omega Shenron, you know, these are good characters that you can use. And there are some other characters on Regen. But really, I'm looking more for androids. So androids, I think, is going to make the biggest jump possible. Again, they already have a better core than Regen, in my opinion. But Regen also has dudes that are a little bit older that are still very powerful, like Zenkai Fat Boo, and you'd be well off building this team either way. It doesn't really matter which way you go. It just more or less, I guess, depends on your flavor, right? Whatever you want to do. But both teams are going to be awesome because they both have access to Cell if you wanted to do that. They both have access to a decent purple fighter who also buffs them both with her Z ability at a high enough star level. Like, they're almost identical teams now that I think about it a little bit more, but 18 I think is the difference maker. So this character here, her main ability currently does bonus 20% damage, and then also applies a downgrade minus 30% to enemy sustained damage cut effects to allies for 60 count. So 60 count hitting through cut, just gonna help us do more damage. This actually stands to improve a good bit. Like, you need 10 counts to use this. This is very cookie cutter though. So obviously they're gonna upgrade this. She might even buff allies even further with her main, like applying damage inflicted buff. Like, a good example of a support character that recently came out that's also on the girls team. I haven't even talked about the girls team, by the way. Girls with Vados, 18, and 21. Yeah, Kefla finally probably gets pushed out of the core of green, green, yellow, but like, yo, female warriors, girls, they're gonna be awesome, right? But the main ability here is kind of a similar thing. Damage for 60 counts, 30% by allies, restores allies' health by 15%, cancels allies' downgrades. You have to think 21 is going to get a better supporting effect added to her main ability when supporting main abilities like Vados' are running around. But like I said, these two together is going to be disgusting for 18, dude. All right, so first unique here, and this is where she's really interesting because she is designed to run with a purple 21. Let me say this. I've said on a couple of occasions, like even on the 5-9 podcast, I believe I said it, there was a good chance that characters like this 21 wasn't going to come back, right? And the reason why is because she's a collaborative character. They're not able to bring back collaborative characters anywhere near as often as their own characters, or just whenever they choose to, right? They can't run her event as much as like a Legends Road event. Like they could run a Legends Road event for Kid Goku every other week if they wanted to, right? But they can't do that for the collaborative characters. Even though the purple 21 is technically in the game, she's also, from what I've heard, not really supposed to be available on summon banners because of Shueisha and stuff like that, but she is. So there's that. And that's one thing that's really interesting. I think Fighterz anniversary is coming up soon. That's probably why she's getting a Zenkai. So yeah, there's that. But anyways, just keep that in mind that you do want to farm this character because there's a good chance you won't be seeing this character until maybe next year. Yeah, I know it's January, and you think that probably would be far-fetched. Good chance she doesn't come back until next year. So be sure to farm her. Same goes for Kakarot Goku, by the way. Another collab character. Excuse me. Anyways, so going back to 21 here, she was made to run with the purple 21 and just offer a ton of buffs to purple 21. So obviously, like characters like Vados isn't going to get all these buffs from her. She herself would get all these buffs technically because she does fit all those tag requirements. You would get a couple of these with 18 special move and then damage inflicted. They're very meticulous with how they built this. But anyways, so when she subs out, she applies these effects to allies. On Android, or excuse me, on Regen team as well, she'd be able to offer some of these buffs. Sometimes they'll get Transforming Warrior, you know, Regen. Anyways, so minus 20 to blue card cost, nuts. Plus 50% to key recovery, nuts. 30% to damage inflicted, nuts. Minus 5 to blast arts cost, kind of whatever, but pretty good for combo extension. So again, I don't really see them changing this very much, but they might add a couple more restrictions on here, or they could very well reduce restrictions, or last thing, they could add an entire other ability here that if you're not a part of those groups, you just get a automatic like 20%, or even like key gain, sub out gain key, like 20 key or something like that. There are things like that that they can do to expand on this without really changing it too much, because I don't think it's going to change a ton in terms of the way that it generally works. Actually, no, she already has that. So yeah, she has the damage inflicted regardless here. Yeah, so no, that's like adding like 20 key. That literally is going to be good enough. Like something like that is all I see really happening to this. Okay, so the second unique. The following effects occur every time this character uses an arts card. Debuffs. So obviously there are characters that are going to be immune to this type of thing, and there are ways, like with Vados' main ability, to clear these types of things. But in the moments, in a combo, her ability to just do a ton of debuffs, not only damage received debuffs, meaning they'll take more, but also health restoration. There are a lot of characters that can heal a lot of HP, again, like Vados. So she's going to be able to negate that a little bit. So very good effect here. I don't know if they'll change this very much. The only thing I want to see happen with her is, obviously with the Zenkai, they're going to add 2 uniques. Only thing I think she needs more of is sustainability. So you give her sustainability on top of defensive stats that are about 160,000 at 14 star. Obviously, they're going to jump up with the Zenkai and then her Zenkai ability, which will probably look like free Fury Broly splits of 20 and 25%, as opposed to the summonable splits of 40 and 35. So that's one thing to consider too. But yeah, just sustainability, more cutting ability. She doesn't have any of that because she comes from, you know, when that wasn't as necessary in the meta, right? So give her that and a little bit more of her own output of damage, and she's good. She doesn't need to do things that are, you know, super, super good, like draw a card on entry. Like, she doesn't need to do those things. If they want to give her that, fine. But mainly I'm looking for sustainability. And maybe you can even prolong these effects to like 20 counts. So she can maybe cycle back in and use them a little bit longer than the normal 5 count. So there's that. Anyways, so her blast strike obviously not going to change much, if at all. So photon wave, major explode, probably jumps to massive, destroys all of your enemies' green cards on hit. This is an AoE special move, so it's not going to hit from long range. It's only close and mid, but if they vanish by chance, you'll hit them. So there's that. So her green card is a comboable green into strikes, blasts, and blues. It doesn't combo. No, actually, strikes, blasts, and greens. No blues because the way the blue works, like I said. Anyways, She draws 1 card randomly on hit, -5 to enemies, strikes to her own, excuse me, strike and blast card cost there. So if she gains key with this, it's insane for combo potential. That's it. That's the only thing she really needs to do here. You've got to be kind of careful with giving her tools to gain key, draw speed, things like that. You have to be careful with that when it comes to balancing this character, which I assume they'll try to do because she is at the end of the day a free character, right? You know, they'll try to maybe hamper her a little bit. That being said, you have to be kind of careful because of her combo potential and the debuffs for a long amount of time, by the way. Those debuffs last for 15 counts, right? So if she just gains key here to be able to use whatever card she draws, most likely, unless it's a blue card, you get the point. She's fine, right? So there's that. And I'm actually curious to see which way they go with her Zenkai ability. I actually think her Zenkai ability winds up buffing. I mean, between Android, Regen, or Girl, she fits as their best blue on all those teams, basically. I think her Zenkai ability probably winds up buffing the most notable team of the 3, which is Regen. I would not be surprised if she buffs Regen, but I also wouldn't be surprised if she buffs Androids. But I don't think she's buffing Girl till the end of the day. So blue Androids, if they decide to buff this 18 one day with the Zenkai, she would be disgustingly good, by the way. She's one of those sleeper characters that'd be ridiculously good. You know, blue Androids, though, for the most part, very limited selection here. 13 exists, right? If you look at Regen, I actually think Regen may benefit a little bit more from this because you have characters that could be potentially good characters if they got access to Zenkai stat increases, like Super Boo here, who's just a decent character, right? Super Baby 2, he gets his own Zenkai. Watch out, right? Super Namekian Lord Slug, interesting character, right? So just think on some of those things like that. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and wrap here. At the end of the day, she's getting a Zenkai on the 19th. Like I said, that's Tuesday night for me, Wednesday for you guys probably as well. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited for this? Again, she is going to be a character you're going to want to farm because she may not come back at all this year. So have an awesome day, and I'll be seeing all of you in the next one.